La 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 la. Jews will unite the world in hate. La 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 la. Welcome to Wade World, and you are with Wade. Well, you have to give credit where credit is due. It's been 7,500 years since this philosophy, through various names such as the philosophy of the Canaanites, the philosophy of the Phoenicians, and then it crystallized into the philosophy of Jews, has been practicing its old version of the religion, which a lot of, pretty much all of humanity moved ahead from, which was basically sacrificing your children or human children to the gods in exchange for favors, because we decided that was pretty messed up and we're not going to do it. But not Jews. Their actions, specifically in regards to Israel, has led to an awakening that Wade is very interested in. People, it's not the vast majority, but a sizable minority of people are now fully up to speed on the Jewish shenanigans since the beginning of the 20th century. Well, they're still not up to speed about the 19th, 18th, 17th, 16th centuries and 2000 years before, and the Khazars 1100 years before, and beyond Greece to Egypt 6,000 years ago, and then beyond that to the Babylonian Talmud, Sumeria. But hey, it's a start, right? Now you can actually talk to people and say, do you know what happened in World War II? Yeah, man, I don't think Germany was the bad guys. I think we were. That's a huge jump forward. And this is across races, across countries. And remember, right, Jews are 0.2% of the world and hold a disproportionate amount of power. So this displays that you don't need to be the vast majority, just a very significant and driven minority to succeed. We're going to go to X today because X, what was that? X, Degeneration X, check out. Because X is like a fountain of baseness in this world, which is creditable to an extent. It's still very Jude. The guy in charge of X moderation is a Jew. He's the Mossad handler of Elon Musk. But dude, come on. They turned one of his sons into a transgender freak. So he knows at some level that they may have his balls, but he's trying. So as long as it exists, it's fine. And even if it doesn't, it's the damage is done. Wade was very shocked when X was sold to Elon Musk. It's like that was a critical mistake. That was a critical mistake because remember, even if they shut down all the discussion on X, right? It's too late now. There are too many people who are too aware, and they're just going to move to decentralized platforms like Nostr, OSTR. And you can check it out. You can never be banned from it. You can always say whatever you want. There's no censorship. Literally, no one's in control. It's like Bitcoin, but for talking. And there are a bunch of fun apps, Damus, DAMUS, on the iPhone that you can use. And on Android that you can use, AMTHEYST, and or AMETHYST. You'll have to check it out. And even if you don't have an app, you can just log in to it without an app. There are like tons of them because the app is just a front end and the network is decentralized. But today we're going to go to X and let's see if YouTube can actually handle it. So this is for you guys. The first notification, breaking, Iran has attacked all infrastructure in Georgia, which provides 30% of Israel's oil. Has Iran, has it really? Has Iran really attacked oil? Have the Jews attacked the oil infrastructure in Georgia? Because we know for a fact, a lot of that's what they do. It's like, they're like that guy you know who will instigate a fight you and your neighbor, burn your dog, and then say, your neighbor burned your dog down, bro. So you guys attack and kill each other, and then he moves and takes over your houses, right? So we know the false flag is basically a Jewish Khazarian staple, you know? tried to blow up Saudi Aramco's refinery in Saudi Arabia. The two Mossad agents, they were arrested. And then they went in, and they were like, oh, Iran did it. And when they were caught, they were like, oh, damage control mode, damage control mode. And then Saudi Arabia had to say, like, oh, no, nothing happened. But the Middle East is looking at us and they're saying, like, yo, these assholes told us not to build it, they threatened us, and then they made us rich on that they will protect us if somebody messed with us. Well, now Iran is messing with us, and the Americans aren't doing shit. In fact, they moved our defenses to Israel. You're not going to be coming back from that. 79, 80-year-old octogenarians, the last retard boomers in office, because of trust. And they know that you motherfuckers are going to die. So the next generation that's coming up, the 30s are again going to be World War III, July II, right? But this time, it might be instigated by Jews, but I'm going to make a prediction that the probability of them losing is pretty high. And not just in the war, globally. Jewish influence will collapse after Americans, although the plan is to collapse American influence first, right? So anyway, we got Tucker Carlson. He is almost based. Almost based. I'd say, we'd say he's 75% there. And what a transformation this has been. This was the most liberal, limp-wristed, nerdy, dorky dude. And now, look at what he's talking about. He's talking about a religious war. This is something to behold.
Have two countries that are roughly evenly matched. We never do know until they come into conflict, but they seem roughly evenly matched. Who gets to set the terms for commerce and diplomacy and everything else that happens on the globe? Well, if you were to reach a diplomatic solution, there would be, in effect, a power sharing agreement between these two countries. You take the East, I take the West. Here are the terms. But unfortunately, no such agreement, formal or informal, has been reached for a bunch of reasons. It's everybody's fault. But one of the reasons is almost nobody in Washington can get his head around the current, present, obvious reality, which is, no, we don't run everything anymore. We are in competition, not necessarily in conflict, but in competition with this.
So you should check it out. No. Too late, Sloot. Too fucking... You should check out the video, but we're going to go through X feed because it is spicy. And remember, this is not just talk. This is not just talk. We've had a lot of podcasters. Their job. WAYDE is not trying to be a podcaster. That's done, man. Now it's time for action, right? Because podcasting is not going to bring around revolution. You can podcast all you want. Did it stop the Israelis from blackmailing the US president into going to war with Iran, possibly dropping a nuke on Iran? Who knows? But podcasting has people rise up, and that is the thing. These retards, these democracy retards, right? They really are sensitive to losing power because that's all they care about. So they want to be in power, and because they're given such short terms in office, there's a feedback that you can, so they can just come in and fuck up your country for 4 years before they're like, all right, until it's completely gone, like the UK, right? They're scared because a lot of Americans, and these are armed Americans, right? They're like waking up to the fact that our government doesn't really work for us. This is a white country of Anglo whites and Germanic whites, and it has been absolutely subverted and destroyed. And if you just go on X and you scroll the feeds of what Jews have been saying forever against Germany, Germans and Europeans, you would understand. So again, full credit to them. They are extremely race aware. They subvert you into not being racist, but they are the most racist people on earth. And the second most racist are obviously Africans, Negroes. So they understand that they are white from the Caucasus, so they're Caucasian whites, but they really hate Germanic, Nordic, Mediterranean, Slavic, Anglo-Saxon whites. They're definitely going to make that distinction. They're going to subvert you, and they've been trying. So now a lot of people are waking up. So we're going to go through some of these expos because it is spicy as hell. And hopefully YouTube will not spaz out. Tucker Carlson is an American hero. There are so few at the top, it's humbling to observe him. Annoying, driven masculine energy of a black woman with the intelligence of white genetics. Looking at her, it seems she might have mixed parents as well. Who knows? Anyway, it took her red pill a lot of you, and it's fine. That's We are living in a time where girly men, Jews, making sure girly men procreate. Birth control makes teenage girls and young girls be attracted to girly men, right? Girls whore away their 20s and then marry in their 30s, giving birth to more girls, and they marry beta males who are willing to settle for them and create this bastard mixed gene child with all the other men who came inside her, right? So we're living in a time of girly men, and girly men will listen to a woman or a man. A man is threatening. Like, as men, if you really go and live in a masculine country, or you were raised in a masculine country, you would understand this implicitly, right? As men, we have a default setting. This might be abrasive, this might be more direct, this might seem rude and combative, but it's honest and it's effective. Like, we get things done. The lot of politeness and manners that come from respect are very different from the fake politeness and the fake manners that are coming in a girly society. For example, Americans might say thank you and please a lot. They might apologize a lot more. Canadians might, but at the end of the day, they don't really mean it. But if you go to some masculine countries in, let's suppose, the Balkans, right? The men are not going to be like that. What do you want? Okay, thanks. It's not going to have that same like, I'm sorry, like, oh, thank you. That shitty, girly, again, because Jews are nasally, whiny, girly voiced men. That's how the other men copy them. They're rulers. So it's going to become as a shock to you, but you're going to be able to understand that just because the tone is more direct, it's how men are, masculinity, right? It doesn't mean that they're bad people. They're just talking in a masculine way. And that's the reason Candace is getting a message out to a lot of people, because they haven't reached that stage yet where they're like, you suck, you need to improve, all right? And don't be a degenerate, because girls will make you. WAYDE is talking from a lot of observations. So anyway, that's no disagreement. Let's go to something else. What else is going on? Do you still support these two podcasts? Who the fuck? Too late. Could this be a religious war designed? Oh yeah, this is a great clip. Let's listen.
Shoot down.
If it was up to me, I would pretend that one missile came from Iran and shoot it down.
Shoot it down into the Dome of the Rock in Al-Aqsa. What's on what the Israelis call the Temple Mount and blame the Iranians. Is it beyond imagination that in the fog of war?
We told you it would be spicy. This is very true. See, and that is what WAYDE is talking about. This is something that even 60-year-old men are now waking up to, that, yo, these guys lie all the fucking time. And not just in the business deals and little things, they lie internationally on a massive level. It's like a very interesting perspective from Candace. It's like a spell. So the spell doesn't really have power in the metaphysical sense, but it's the lie is like what they lied about World War II, right? If they repeat it, the push movies and the narratives, the push media, and they punish people who argue against the lie, then it somewhat becomes the reality, and then it becomes history. And then 500 years down the line, we're like, oh my God, remember the 6 million Jews were slaughtered in Germany? Interesting that only 296,038 Jews actually were ever living in all the camps in Germany. So the Germans created new Jews, apparently. And like newly declassified British files say, like the British intelligence was saying, like, hey, we've got to be careful about this Holocaust gas chamber lie, because there's a lot of leakage and weak links in the story. So maybe they're practicing lying, which is harming everybody else. Let's see what else is doing. Simple yes or no. Who is this? Israel, the largest terrorist organization in history. The largest terrorist in Judaism. I'm not dying for Israel. This is a very disturbing video.
Ability to name that shows that them as leaders. This is wrong, and nobody wants to fight for Israel.
Look at that. This isn't a politician. This isn't a musician. This isn't a footballer. This isn't a senator. This isn't a congressman. This is one of the men, white men, who actually fought for America. He's bled for America. He's fought for America. He's decorated. And all he's saying is, I don't want to fight for a foreign country. And they are shoving him out of the Senate hearing. They broke his arm. They broke the arm of a warrior who was fighting for his nation. To see what it looks like to live under girly men. This is what it looks like. They use the best and bravest of you to fight the wars that they can't because they are degenerates, cowards, and girly men. And then when you actually try to exert your power and you try to stand for the truth, they break your arm. It takes 5 of them to break his arm. This is a decorated veteran. He's a Marine. And this is just a teaser of things to come. Right now, you might say, I don't care about the Palestinians. You might not, and that's fine. But Palestinians are a whole hell of a lot whiter than these Israeli Caucasian cousins. And secondly, what they're doing to Palestinians, learn from it, because they are going to do these same things to you. Yes, you in your why Starbucks drinking, iPhone using Western nation. Understand this, they are racist against everybody. They don't care whether you're blonde, blue-eyed Nordic or dude from Africa. They will be racist against everybody because, let's be honest, they are objectively following that path. They believe in that truly, that you're the chosen one. It's an exclusionary and harmful ideology led by girly men. Harmful because it's led by girly men. You can choose to say we're the chosen one, but then you have to prove it honestly. You can try to prove it dishonestly, but this is literally why they get this all the time. They got destroyed 80 years after they crucified one of their own, Jesus, because they just wouldn't shut up. And people had had enough. They were like, yo, fuck these guys. We're gonna tear down the temple, their temple, stone by stone. And that's what the Romans did. And today they say praying at that where all the guys go to suck Israeli cock, right? That's not the temple wall. That's some Roman wall, man. The Romans destroyed the temple. There was a literal order, like, yo, tear it down, but no stone should be left. And then they built a wall around that compound, like a fort. That's a Roman wall they're praying at. But anyway, it's X's red pilling a lot of you. This is enemies are within. You got enough Afghanistan.
A reminder to all our
The enemies are within. Traitors are within. If Donald Trump and Elon Musk buy CNN and turn it into a truth, that's not going to happen, man. These two are too compromised. You can't be, unfortunately, right now, you can't be at the top in power or money and not be beholden to the Jews because of the Jewish financial system. And also, you can't be a merchant and do, like, they've maxed out what merchants can do. And one's an engineer, merchant. Right, the moment you try to become a merchant, oh, I'm rich. You have to understand that wealth is the Jews' penultimate misdirection for your gifted men. Because beyond that comes the actual dangerous thing, which, if you understand what it is, WAYDE is not going to say it. So Jews keep you distracted from the most important thing in this world that you require to write your own destiny. And the biggest carrot they can give you just before you break through their matrix is wealth. We'll make you fabulously wealthy and fabulous. Break through that ceiling, they'll try to subvert you in any way they can, bribe you, assassinate you, whatever. So, and these are merchants, both of them highly Jewed. Like, you cannot have a reasonable relationship that is sensible with a group of people who in the north see you as subhuman, whereas they themselves behave like parasites and act subhuman, right? Because this is subhuman. Worshipping a god that still demands child sacrifice and choosing to sacrifice, torture and sacrifice babies, so this is like a particularly fucked up god, is a choice. Whereas the rest of humanity has moved forward, they're still stuck there. So there's still that slave mentality of, oh God, please help me. I'll fuck up my fellow man. No, I don't care. Just help me, man. It's a choice, man. You can't really be reasonable with anybody who supports that. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Right? All right, let's see what else. X is fascinating. Candace Owens just claimed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu murdered 3,000 Americans on 9/11, officially claiming Israel was behind the hijacking of the plane and the falling of the Twin Towers, the greatest terrorist attack in American history. And we're going to do this later. No one country, I don't think those service members died for the United States. I think they died for Israel. So here's the thing, right? The Jews think, oh, it's been 25 years. People forget 9/11. There's a whole new generation born on TikTok doing slut dances at the age of 9 and 10 and being queeros while being flooded by Africans and other assorted dysgenic people from around the world. But they don't realize it's not that far away. 9/11, the Twin Towers, because there's a lot of movies, they keep showing that their Twin Towers are destroyed in a lot of movies. And what else? Wade can tell you, they're going to try to blow up the White House. Why? Because a lot of movies show the White House being blown up. Independence Day, a lot of other movies, like the Ray comes, what she say, Jewish space lasers, they were making fun of her. It turns out, yeah, we actually do have space lasers funded by Jewish companies that start a lot of fires and burn down a lot of houses. So 9/11 is not that far away. We remember. A lot of people around the world saw it live on TV. Whatever you told people, like, oh, it's the Saudi Arabians. And because there were Saudi Arabians on board, we have to attack Iraq and Afghanistan while never touching Saudi Arabia. So it's retarded. And if you don't agree, you ain't a patriot. Ya Allah, Muslims. Fuck you. Fuck you, Jew stooges. Fuck you. Men are wise to your bullshit. You know, you've been gifted with the patience of Anglo-Saxon and Western European men forever, but understand that once that's done, it's done. They get back, they reset back to masculinity and be like, fuck you, that's bullshit. We know you did it. Well, what hasn't this country done, man? What hasn't this group of people done? They assassinated JFK, a sitting president, and we still didn't do anything to them, right? They bombed the USS Liberty. They still didn't do anything to them. They got us involved in Afghanistan to grow poppy seeds for the chemicals used by a Jewish family, the Sacklers, to kill millions of white Americans by flooding their homes and lives with prescription drugs, addictive prescription drugs, by bribing the doctors. What haven't they done? That's the biggest terrorist attack on America. You ain't seen nothing yet. The biggest terrorist attack in America has been the Jewish push for abortion of white women, the Jewish push for childlessness among white people, the Jewish poisoning of the food of America and Europe, the Jewish poisoning of the children by the vaccines, and the Jewish poisoning of white people in America by flooding them with drugs and breaking up their families. And if they win, they are going to millions of Christians, by the way. They outlawed Christianity of taking power. They outlawed Christianity and they made it a crime punishable by death to criticize Jews. That was the communist revolution, bro. So if they win in America, well, a lot of you are dying and you're already an outdated number. Maybe there's like 400, 500 million people in the States right now. You've got maybe 250 million white Anglo-Saxon, white Germanics, right? So they're going to be killing 100 million of you easy. Easy. Don't wait for that to happen. Don't wait for Russian repeat to happen. Think of Rome. The Romans killed Caesar. They fucked the Jews up. And 100% sure. Caesar also supported the Jews. They were like, oh, I'll support Judea. They didn't give a shit. They were like, no, this guy is too charismatic. We got to kill him. They killed Caesar, and that really fucked them up. Really fucked them up. Then Rome went on to destroy them completely. And they also tried the same thing in Russia. The Russians defeated the Khazarian Empire. Now the Khazarians and these met, converted to Judaism. Here we are. So she is right, but it's 25 years too late for us who knew the truth back then. All right, let's see what the clown in chief is saying. Man, this is so.
If we didn't,
This is an example of a man. If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. When crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad like Israel, crazy people like Israel, they've been saying Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon for 40 fucking years. Have you ever been on any project that you couldn't do in 40 years and then suddenly by the divine grace of God, you could do it in 2 weeks? Fuck off, man. You are such a coward. You are a fucking coward. Because they tried to fucking kill you and your balls dropped off. That's literally what happened, didn't it? The Jews tried to kill you. You know this. Israel tried to assassinate you. You know this. Not once, multiple times. And your balls completely withered away to dust and died, man. You folded. You fucking folded. To redeem yourself, you have to do something that nobody has seen. And frankly, a man who marries his daughter off to a Jew and is so compromised by Jews, it's too late. It's too late for you, man. It's too late. You were too reasonable and you were too Jewed. And it's too late. Your balls dropped off, man. So we're gonna call you because that's what you are. And let's see what this coward is spewing. Wade might mute it. And that's the fucking problem. Wade like this dude Wade didn't care about this dude until the Jews started attacking him. And then Wade was like, why are they attacking this clown, man? Because he always looked like a buffoon. And then they're like, oh, wait a second, he's making good points. But the problem is not that he didn't mean the point. He's a merchant, right? He didn't have the balls to back it. Because it's easy to talk, right? Easy to make promises. The test of the resolve comes when you try to get killed for making those promises. And his balls dropped. So basically that was his limit. He was like, I'm going to make good promises to you until someone tries to kill me and then my balls will drop and I'll be a pussy. It sucks, man. It sucks. Hopefully we'll get somebody Israeli or Jewish money, period. Although Jews try to fund it, even Hitler. So, all right, let's see what this clown is saying. Man, it's a fall from the hope, the great white hope to a fucking clown. It's not a great white hope. It's a great fat shark.
hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. If we do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear.
Americans have such low testosterone that they literally thought a guy who speaks like he's got a dick in his mouth is somewhat magnetic and charismatic enough to be made the president. Like, you guys are so fucking desperate. And your balls have been chopped off so much, your testosterone is so low, you're like, bro, you talk like you have a dick in your mouth. What the fuck happened? Did someone throat fuck you? Did the Israelis throat fuck you into talking like this? What the fuck happened, man? You don't talk like a man. You don't sound like a man. You're not masculine enough. All you're doing is sitting your 80-year-old fucking saggy ass with his lost fucking balls chopped off by Israel, pressing buttons and telling more manly men to go die in your wars. You're a fucking merchant. And you're a prime example of the weakness of Anglo-Saxons. If Anglo-Saxons in America, you want to see who betrays you? These are the kind of people who betray you. They lack the balls, man. You want to test a leader? Fucking merchant is going to lose the war, regardless of even if you drop a nuke on Iran. America's already lost. It's lost the Middle East. It's lost its influence. It's losing its internal unity. And this guy, I made a couple of billion on my meme coin. Fuck off. Wealth is a distraction. The wealth is a distraction. You have 170 billionaires now, not because we're living in the greatest time in history. No, it's because the fucking country is destroying itself. What used to be worth $1 is now worth $100 fucking, right? You got these motherfuckers. Bro, this isn't a fucking game. You can sit there with talking like that, you got a dick in your mouth, but you lost your balls. And what happened is when you lost your balls, you ran to the same people who tried to kill you instead of getting enraged, which a masculine man would have been and be like, I'm gonna fuck these motherfuckers up. I'm gonna fuck them up. Hey, maybe you can still redeem yourself, but it doesn't look like it. Because you're not a man. You're not a masculine man. You're a coward. It just sucks that I have a choice between cowards in America. Democracy, the will of the people. Here's your choices: an absolute traitor who hates you, a coward who will send you to your death. Enjoy the power you have, young people. You can shape the future of your country by voting. Fuck off. Fuck democracy. Democracy is equal to being ruled by Jews. Democracy is Judaism. Fuck it. Anyway, we're going to skip through. Whatever his policies, his voice has always been that of a cocksucker. Like, this is, shut the fuck up, man. Difficulty very hard. Who gives a fuck? If Bill Gates, that's funny. Damn, CNN, you can never show you like this. Oh, there you go. Oh, that we've seen this already. He's a fool. This is good, man. Like, here's the thing, right? Are every actions of every Jew evil? No. Do Jews select genetically for the qualities that they have and reinforce them by the torture of circumcision of their male babies? Yes. Jews actively kill those among them who would be normal human beings. They actively ostracize them. They are very inbred, the most inbred, in fact, in the world. They have a saying that vice is nice, but incest is best. That's from the Rothschild, that little gem. So they genetically select for these qualities, right? Now, does that mean that every Jew out there is like this? No. But the proportion needs to be kept in mind. If you are one among a million, and you're not really going to be having much of a redeemable effect unless you are highly exceptional, right? Highly, highly exceptional. So some of them, they come out and they say, like, this dude is like a stereotypically Jewish guy. And he's talking about it because, look, there are reports that Mossad commanders, IDF commanders, when they train Jews from other countries who come to Israel to become IDF soldiers, right? Like, there was a commander who saw a little 4 or 5-year-old Palestinian boy. Now, I have to remember, Jews have painted Muslims in your minds as like all browns. Palestinians are very fucking white. We're talking ginger levels of whiteness. So imagine a white boy, he's playing, right? So he goes to the boy, he breaks his arm in half. While the boy is crying, he breaks his leg in half, and then he stomps on his stomach. And the Jews in that group, some of them were very sure. Like, what the fuck, bro? Why'd you do that to the kid? And he was like, no, you have to treat them like animals. So it was like a training. So that initial reaction, that still persists. But they're like, yo, this is fucked up, man. This is really fucked up. This is not what I signed up for. What the fuck? I thought you guys were like, oh, peace, harmony, shit. There is redeemability. But maybe that's why he's telling about the secrets of the Mossad. So let's have a look. Because they do tell you what they do. Maybe he feels guilty because of all the things going on. What's stopping humanity from living peacefully together? Jews are number one.
And sort of trapped by the Israelis. Jeffrey Epstein is one of their tools to.
And what do you think of Dershowitz's denial?
I give you an example. Hold on a second. I want to give you an example. Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, Ehud Barak met Arafat in the 90s. and there was no deal.
By the way, the Jews also have had one of their prime assassinated. Already existed before the Israelis.
The reason was Epstein. They were being blackmailed. Barack was also a friend of Epstein, the prime minister of Israel at the time, but he was being blackmailed by the Israeli right wing as well. And they stopped an agreement with Arafat. They were about to reach an agreement there for a two-state solution, but that was stopped because of Epstein. They were both being blackmailed by Epstein.
And so Jeffrey Epstein, in a way, presumably being used as a tool by the Israelis, helped to change the course of history in this region I'm speaking to you from.
Of course, they changed everything, and they trapped a number of U.S. presidents by using Jeffrey Epstein. And it wasn't only about sex, it was also
Monica Lewinsky, never registered before to most of you, right? Jewess.
the money issue. Where was the money coming from? But everything is stuck over Gaza. And I believe the Israelis have the American government captive due to what happens with Epstein, or what happened in the past with Epstein. Rupert Murdoch, newspaper, Wall Street Journal, put out that card or something, birthday card Trump sent to Epstein. Where do you think they got it from? And I don't think Trump wants to continue this war or the genocide. I think it's the Israelis holding him back.
Given how much maverick power he has to create peace in South North Korea, in Palestine, in all these different places, one might ask, why do they need Jeffrey Epstein? Why can't they just assassinate Donald Trump? I know there's a lot of speculation. There has been that John F. Kennedy was assassinated with Israeli intelligence help. Why do they need things like Jeffrey Epstein?
Somebody tried to assassinate him, didn't they? Before the election. It doesn't always work. I'm not sure what's going to happen because, people look at these pictures of starving children all over the world, and there's a lot of pressure on these politicians to say, and to tell them enough is enough. I'm not sure how far this will go. I think harakiri on the...
Hey. Man. One of the most interesting notes, and maybe Wade is going to end here. Wade has noticed is that beauty is not a proxy for honesty or courage. It's the eyes, actually. Beauty is a high degree of correlation with honesty and courage, obviously, but it's the eyes that betray the weakness. And this next clip from Pete Hegseth, this is a masculine man, but again, beholden to Israel, compromised, right? Compromised by the literal enemies of humanity. And if you look at it very objectively, right, as Wade has mentioned multiple times, you can't really blame them for practicing what they're practicing because they just happen to be a group of people who were like, yeah, sure, guys, you don't want to torture and kill babies to death and sacrifice to your God, but we're still going to do it. That's a choice, right? Now, the problem comes in that they also believe in world domination, misguiding everybody else, and spreading filth and degeneracy. Because if they were just sitting there in their areas, right, and doing these fucked up things, most of the countries, if they didn't export this filth, most countries wouldn't really care. They were like, yo, they're killing their own, it's fine. But they started killing other people. They started destroying other people, which is pretty much going to happen when you choose to follow that path. The fact that they are 0.2% of the world population is not just the fact that they are gifted, but it's like an infection. It means humanity throughout history has destroyed them so many times. And the best of them converted to Christianity, converted to Islam. So the ones who still stick with Judaism, right? You don't know. Wade saw a very interesting video about them writing. They're like, oh, we're Torah scholars, we write the Torah by hand. They do that because a lot of Torah Talmuds were burned. That is the question, right? Are they really writing the Torah, or is it the Talmud that they're writing by hand? Because the Talmud was burned once it was converted into European languages and people read what it said. And they were like, yo, even if it's just rabbis discussing, these are some fucked up individuals that call themselves rabbis. So this is a religion that takes the most fucked up individual and makes him a priest of their religion, and then takes advice from him. That's a choice, right? So there is a choice on who you make your best priest, your mentally best. It could be good people, wise people who want to benefit mankind, or it could be really fucked up, selfish psychopaths. And this religion and people consistently choose fucked up psychopaths. That's what the Talmud is. It's just a bunch of fucked up psychopaths talking about what the best way to get to that aim. So they're like little robots, honestly. They're like defective, subhuman robots. People believe in this. Jews who believe in this, honestly, who just won't stop ever to assess the consequences of their actions. And here's the fact, right? If you are worshiping a God who wants you to torture babies to death and burn them alive to sacrifice in exchange for world power, well, let's say you get world power, right? What will happen then? You'll say, oh, next we'll exterminate all God, replace them with machines. All right, let's roll with it, right? So we're all dead, and these parasites inherit the earth. What will happen next? Then the God will be like, hey, where's my fucking sacrifice? Then they will start sacrificing their own, which might lead to another cycle of other religions that hate Judaism coming through. Or the God puts so much pressure on them that they start sacrificing their own until the God basically wants them dead as well. And all the while, their God will keep telling them is like, I will give you power, bro. Don't worry about the rest. I will give you power. So what they are doing to other nations and human beings by dividing them with the carrot of power and wealth and fame and, you know, fornication, their God will do to them. And the end goal of this philosophy, the reason it's dangerous for all of us is because they will literally lead themselves to their own death. And then their God, which Wade has already told you, is not the creator of the reality. These are just some advanced beings who probably designed us and then gimped us because we became too numerous. And then their God would have won. He would have been like, look, and this is we're talking about the Sumerian god, right? Enlil, Enki, Ishtar. So then that Moloch guy would probably go like, "Yay, Enlil, fuck you, man. I'm the god because you failed at killing these motherfuckers 3 times by floods. I killed them all, and I made them commit suicide." So the end game for humanity is basically extinction, even of these Jews, these subhumans, right? Anyway, moving on. We're just going to look at this clip, and that's it for the day. Let's see, anything interesting? Boomer Christians are leading up to the pits of hell with their fallen. Yeah, that's true. The nation state of Israel, it's Eastern Europe. It's not Eastern Europe, man. It's the Caucasian Mountains. Huge repository of information about open air, led by a Jew, and Sam Altman. The Jew just dropped the open air file. There's so much crazy shit in there. Here's what Claude highlighted to me. All right, we're going to look at this. All right. Let's see what he said.
I and others had a chance to go see the Western Wall of the Temple Mount, the Western Wall tunnels, so much of the old city.
Crap.
And as you stand there, you can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle. And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
See, this is why Wade is against Christianity, because you come from degeneracy. Christianity comes from degeneracy. It's a theological schism between Jews. Now, this retard just said establishment of the third temple. If you're a Christian, in your Bible, remember the temple that Jesus turned the money changers' table over from, and he said it would be destroyed? That was the first temple, or the second temple. So the God of Christians and Christianity said that this temple is an abomination and it should not stand on this stone. Actually, that stone has significance. Maybe it's where the beings who designed us were expelled and landed. Maybe it's 33 degrees, 0.33 degrees or whatever. But the fact that a Christian has been so subverted, because it comes from degeneracy, right? Judaism comes from Phoenicians and the Canaanites before them, and Christianity comes from Judaism. Because your original religion was so degenerate, it was easy for them to subvert you, just saying, yo, we're the OGs. Look, it says so in the Bible. And the Khazars, the Turks, they converted to Judaism and they basically did a great job of it. So the Turks are white Caucasian people who actually fooled these white Anglo-Saxons. This guy looks a little more Germanic, right, with his face. Teutonic. So he's talking for the establishment of the third temple, which his God in his religion, Christ, would literally beat him and whip him with lashes for this abomination that he's spouting. We're going to just finish off with what's going on with artificial Jew intelligence. And that's it. Like, it's Rob Wiblin. It should be Rob Wilden. There's so much crazy shit in there. Well, it's run by Jews, man. What did you expect? Non-crazy shit in there? Here's what highlighted to me. Altman listed himself as Y Combinator chairman and SEC filing for years. He lied on his resume. Come on, man. He's a Jew. That's like 101. To smooth his exit from Y Combinator, Altman proposed he move from president to chairman. He preemptively published a blog post on the firm's website announcing the change. So Y Combinator is Jewish. The firm's partnership had never agreed. Other Jews disagreed. Despite the retraction, Altman continued falsely listed as chairman SEC filing for years. He'll be like, oops, what the actual fuck? OpenAI's profit cap was quietly changed to increase 20% annually, regardless of, like Wade said, they just make this shit up. So there's a very interesting website that assesses who's fraudulent and who's actually liquid. Now, what's liquid is this, right? If your stock is worth $100 and makes you a millionaire, how much of that money can you actually cash out? So in the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin is liquid, Ethereum is liquid. Like a lot of the projects in the top 10 are pretty much all of them are liquid, even the top 50. If you switch to stocks, all of them are fraudulent. Like every single one of them is fraudulent. The market cap is here, the volume is like here. So if you basically are a multi-billionaire or trillionaire and you're like, I would like to cash in my $1 trillion check, they'll be like, we can only give you $10 million. You know what $10 million is of a trillion? It's 1 by 100,000th of a trillion. It's hilarious. The entire stock market is a fraud. And this shit, it's run by Jews and those who support Jews, right? Who are compromised by Jews. That's what he's saying. They're like, oh, it's just generally going to be growing 20% a year. That's compounding growth, right? Despite claiming to Congress that he has no equity in OpenAI, he's lying. Reddit, of course. Rumors suggest Altman made a 10% stake in the restructured company. OpenAI has a major security. It's not a security breach, man. It's just the Jews stealing your information and say, oh, security breach, sorry. So if you still use Jewish platforms, you have to be aware of the risk. Altman denied knowing about equity clawbacks that threaten departing employees. So basically, Jews will refuse to pay you. That's pretty normal because you're going. Senior employees at Altman's first startup, Loop, twice tried to get him for deceptive and chaotic behavior because he's lying. OpenAI is leading a search film for Ilya Sutskever told the board, I don't think Sam is the guy who should have the finger AGI because he's a fucking. Who described Altman's management tactics as gaslighting. So basically, abuse what girls do, girly men do. Comfortable about Sam leading us to AGI, at least five the OpenAI executive board. Similar negative feedback. Altman owned the OpenAI startup fund personally, but didn't disclose to the board. Other board members wanted someone removed when it was absolutely false. OpenAI, so basically politics like girls. OpenAI required employees to waive their federal rights. Politics like girls. Publicly supporting AI regulation. OpenAI simultaneously lobbied to weaken the EU AI Act. Girly man. Altman completely reversed it. So it's basically a girly man. Girls lie, and girly men lie with the competence. See, the Jews have a special term for every non-Jew who they consider goyim. And you're like, well, we should have a term for the Jews. You don't need to. The term is Jew. That is the term. It's Jew. That's why they really recoil. You should read Joseph Goebbels, what he wrote. Let's see if we can actually find that on X, because Joseph Goebbels was ridiculously based. And now that we know they've been lying about Goebbels, let's see if we can find this thing, because he reincarnation. No, man, he would kill you for saying that. This guy on the right is a Jew. All right, Joseph Goebbels. All right, it's a great line, mass migration. You're not just importing individuals, you're importing societies. No, that's true. Any self-reporting Zionist, historical footage. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. This is Jews who do this. And Joseph Goebbels was saying that Jews accuse the other side of that which you are guilty of. It's a Jewish strategy. But see how they're presenting it to you? It's fascinating. The Eternal Jew, the most infamous historical example of the rat comparison, the propaganda film, the Erwig Jew. This you should watch the movie. This dehumanizing, the film utilizes notorious montage that cuts directly from shots of Jewish people in crowded ghettos of rats emerging from the sewers. Well, they did emerge from the sewers in New York. Had some excellent, excellent points, and we're gonna, for now. You should really read what he wrote. That you can call a Jew a thief, a liar, a scoundrel, a cosmopolitan, a banker, foreign interest, traitor, coward, girly man. It just goes off his back. Either Goebbels said this, repeated this, or Hitler, one of them. But this is very accurate. WAYDE has seen this in real life. But the moment you call him a Jew, watch him recoil in shock. Oh, he's been found out. He can't hide behind these labels. Oh, globalist, merchant, banker, coward, traitor, Democrat, ambassador, president, prime minister. Like the moment he's the Jew, they're like, oh shit, I've been found out. You don't need a special word for Jews. You know, it's like we are living in a world where the most superior races are actually not racist, and they have the full justification to say we are the best. But that's what happens when you're the best, right? You don't think about it. You know, like, if someone comes up to WAYDE and says, oh, your hair sucks, oh, you suck, you ugly, WAYDE will be like, cool, bro. WAYDE will probably like punch him in the face first and then be like, shut the fuck up, you retard. Because of the disrespect, not because of what they're saying. Like, how the fuck do you come up to and start mouth ratty 5-year-old child, right? But it won't affect WAYDE. WAYDE knows that's not the truth. If someone comes up to WAYDE and says like, oh, you could never play in the NBA because you're not 6'10", you know, WAYDE will be like, again, punch you first and be like, yeah, of course, retard. Just like you could never run the Olympics because you're 300 pounds, right? It's reality. And if you're cool, if you're already superior, you don't really feel the need. You just take it. People give you compliments, you're like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, I know. But now just thank you. And you try to compliment them back if you can. So these people, especially I've noticed this among Jews and Africans in America. So the blacks in America, they have this massive superiority complex that comes from inferiority. Like they know they're not the best. So they shout it even harder. A lie, right? So if you're like 5'0" and you're really angry about it, and you're like, I could be in the NBA. I'm the best NBA player. They just won't give me a chance. Fuck you. That's the same energy. That's why they need to come up with all these terms. Jews coming up with goyim is like black Americans coming up with cracker. Like, bro, the white people don't care that you call them crackers. It comes from whip crackers. It doesn't matter to them. They're like, yeah, man, it's like a fucking monkey making fun of a human being and saying, flinging shit. What the fuck? Yeah, go right the fuck ahead, you retard. Right? So that's why they have to come up with all these terms, goyim, Gentile, all this shit. You don't have to, because the term is already there. It's Jew. All right, on that note, we're going to do this again. This has been very entertaining. And the awakening is coming. Until next time on YouTube, keep it cool, keep it smart and aware. And as always, even in the worst of times and the best of times, enjoy.